So I just heard 6:30 whistle, and we are about to depart. So I hope y'all enjoy the ride and have a good day.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. You are actually riding on a 1948 Southern Railway passenger coach built by the Bug Company. I happen to like this car. I don't know if it's the interior. I don't know what it is. It's really nice. And today, especially, it's a very cool car. And that is in temperature, of course, in look too, but definitely in temperature. So you guys made a wise decision. Now, up and behind the station on the hill there is a section of line that was built. That railroad was built in the 1950s to allow the railroads to bypass Missionary Ridge and no longer have to use the old, completed in 1859 Whiteside Tunnel. However, we will still use that same tunnel on that same line, taking us on a historical journey over to East Chattanooga. And we'll talk more about the tunnel in a few moments, but I will tell you that it's about 986 feet long. There's only about 12 to 15 inches of clearance between the train and the tunnel walls. So it's very, very narrow. And you can start to understand why the railroads wanted to avoid having to use Whiteside Tunnel to get from one end of the city to the next. One of the things you have to understand is, unlike today when you have basically, in the United States, the main source of passenger rail service is Amtrak, you have many competitive railroads at that time. And that continued throughout the railroad history. It's not that way anymore. But then you wanted to be able, because you were advertising such, that you could get your passengers to and from their destinations on time, you wanted to be able to do just that. Crossing over South Chickamauga Creek, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see the second edition of the 1880s era bridge piers. The first ones resembled a Roman arch viaduct type of architecture. Crossing over those, we're about to make our way over CSX lines, originally located in this vicinity. Specifically, we're talking about the old West Mid-Atlantic, the CSX lines today, being that the Great Locomotive Chase, probably more than anything else, made that railroad infamous. You see railroad ties laid on this side. You see just enough width, just enough to house a road bed. Right away. That's exactly what that was. That's the old East Tennessee and Georgia Railroad's right away. If we were to take an imaginary pencil, we could trace that line. You would trace it, and it would go back and forth across some of the original. Would go back and forth across today's current route. So you see that it's been modified throughout its history as well. Southern Railway even double tracked it. So that's why we originally was down below to the left before we made our creek crossing, and now it's slightly moved over to the right towards the height of the elevation of the double track roadbed. Some of the other cars we have on today, ladies and gentlemen, Car 1000, which is that open window car, was built for Southern Railway. It's a heavyweight passenger car that was built in 1922. I've already mentioned this one, 1948, and 661 is a 1947. We're going to talk to you a little bit more about the locomotive when we get over to East Chattanooga and we demonstrate our turntable. We'll take the locomotive, uncouple it, stop it just short before pulling it onto the table. And I'll talk to you very briefly about the table and as we bring the locomotive on, specifically about the locomotive itself. If you want to come out on some of the longer excursions we have to offer, today we have a little bit more limited schedule. Normally I would take you on a longer trip over to the back shop, and we talk more specifically about some of the equipment and things that we're doing currently restoration-wise. A little bit more limited today.